guys like my hat? My friend gave it to me and I periodically forget that I have it, but I was like feeling it today. Who knows? I'll keep it on for a little bit. I don't need that. To another episode of Pillow Talk with Kate. I'm super excited for today's episode and I'm super excited that you're here. Thank you so much for joining in and watching. So if you're new here, please hit the like button, subscribe. I do this every Wednesday and it's a really good time and a juicy way to learn more about love, intimacy, sex, relationships in a very fun, safe, explorational, storytelling way. And today I'm so stoked because we're going to be talking about the 5 love languages. Hi ladies, it's so good to be back and to see all of you. Check it out, I got more feathers! The bad thing about it though is it like sheds a lot. And I also can't believe that Kate didn't want this hat anymore. Given that we're going to be talking about love, I want to do some Kriyas that focus on opening up the heart. And the first one is going to be one that's a smidge aggressive. We're going to do the breath of fire, which is taking a big breath, like filling up as much as you can. And then as you exhale, you're taking pulses with the belly, so it's short, powerful snips of air. Then with the breath, you can do this one standing or seated. I actually prefer to do it standing because you can get more in touch, more rooted with the ground. And what we're going to do is punch the right, pull back, punch left, pull back, punch right. And what I want you to think about when you push out is like all of that energy, all of the fights that you had with past partners, just like take it out. And then when you're pulling in, pull in love, gratitude, appreciation, all of that yummy goodness. Typically it's suggested to do this Kriya for 3 minutes, but Karen freaking yelled at me last time because she said I took too long. What does that even mean? Because time is all relative. We're going to do this for the length of the song. Get ready in a nice seated position, comfortable. The spine is straight whether you're standing or seated. Roll the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, let them fall down the spine, opening up the shoulders, opening up the chest. Take a deep breath in, fill up with as much air as you possibly can, taking the biggest breath you've taken all day. And hold for 3, 2, 1. Breath of fire, go. Eyes closed or your eyes open. If you can't do it, smile on your face. Punch it out. Pull it in. Breathe in. Deep breath in. shoulders down, hold the fist. Inhale, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, open the mouth, let it go. Open the hands, reach the arms up above, and shake it out. Let the hands gently glide down by your side, shaking it all out. Imagine doing that for a full 3 minutes. We did it for 2. How do you feel? Let me know in the comments. I'm not going to read them, but Karen will tell me. Okay, the 5 love languages. What are they? What the fuck does it mean? And why do we care about them? All those are valid questions, and if you don't know the answers to any of them, don't worry. That's what we're talking about right meow. The 5 love languages. That's a task for Karen. She'll like that. Dude, what the hell? I don't know if this was Feather's doing or Kate's doing, but like... For some reason, Kate doesn't like to do a lot of the exposition on things, and that falls on me. The 5 love languages were created by Dr. Gary Chapman in 1992. He published a book called The 5 Love Languages. Shocker, right? And that was from his findings. So he is a marriage counselor and had been for many, many years. He kept hearing that in couples counseling, in his marriage counseling, one spouse would say that they didn't feel loved by the other spouse, and they're like, I just don't feel like they love me. And the other one would come in and say, I'm doing everything I know how to do. I don't know what else I can do. Like, I'm trying to show them my love, and I'm doing everything I can think of, but I don't know why it's not translating. Dr. Gary Chapman kept hearing this, and he asked himself why these patterns kept coming up. Like, why was one spouse believing that the other one didn't love them? And why was the other one who was being accused of not loving them saying that they were trying, and yet the other spouse was like, no, lost on them, you know? He dug through all of his notes from all of his sessions that he had with his patients and his clients, and he found that it boiled down into the way of how these people expressed their love and also received love. And he found that they fell into 5 different categories: words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, spending quality time, and receiving gifts. It's important to know your love language, because that is how, one, you give love. Whatever your love language is how you show your love to your partner or your friends or your family. And that's also how you receive love. Knowing your love language in a relationship is only going to improve the relationship. And I'm going to go hand it off to Kate, because someone needs to be filming this, because Kate is, I don't know where she went. She just like does this. I don't get it. There you have it. That's the intro to the 5 love languages. I love how Karen explains it, because she goes so into it with Dr. Chapman and the book. But what she forgot to mention is that there's a quiz that you can take online. The link is below in the description. And even if you have done the love language quiz, but years ago, I'm going to challenge you and recommend that you do it again, because as you grow and evolve as a human being, your love languages change. Mine has actually changed 2 times. It's also a really good way to just check in with yourself and reflect. I want to give an overview of what the 5 different love languages really are. So, words of affirmation sounds pretty simple. It's that person will show love by saying kind things. They want to know that they're being encouraged and supported. They want to hear that they're appreciated. They want to hear people say that they love them. And also just like, hey, I'm proud of you. I see the work that you're doing. I recognize it and thank you. Like, words of affirmation is my #1 love language right now. And it's huge. It's huge for me when my partner just like comes up to me and is like, I appreciate you. I see what you're doing. Like, thank you. Or they tell me, you know, just how proud they are, or they highlight one of the qualities that I often neglect in myself. And it's not just partners, but like, I love it when my friends say that stuff to me, because my friends are my closest people. They're my tribe. They know what I'm going through. They know how hard it is for me to do some of the things that I do regularly for you guys. Thinking about it, talking about it actually makes, like, I'm tearing up, and you could probably hear it in my voice. And they're like happy tears is because I'm seeing the text messages or reflecting on the conversations that I've had with them recently. It's like, that just warms my heart. Moving on, what they don't like is not being appreciated and not getting thanked for their work or for going above and beyond. An example of that would be using my life. He was actually sick. It was just like a minor cold, but you know, for some reason when guys get sick, they just become the biggest fucking babies. They're like, my nose is runny, I have a cold, cuddle with me all day. I feel so bad. Meanwhile, we're like, dude, I bleed for 5 to 7 days straight, and it doesn't stop, and I still have to do life, okay? So it's a fucking cold. Get over it. That's my rant about that. So, I went to the store, I got him a little care package, like vitamin C, some of like his favorite chocolates, you know, to pick me up when you're sick, and I got a few other things, like teas and stuff like that, good. And like, I even like put it in a cute little like bag with a little get well balloon, and I was like, I'm gonna win some girlfriend rewards because like this is super fucking cute. I didn't have to do any of this shit. And then I get to his place and like I walk in the door, and the first thing he said to me was like, what took you so long? I'm holding a fucking care package for you. And you're gonna say that? So then right away, I was butthurt because I was like, I spent time and money on this because I wanted to surprise you. And right away, you are not being appreciative, and I'm about to shut down. That's an example of what you don't want to do to somebody who has a love language of words of affirmation. You want to be like, what he could have done was like, what's that? Is that why you were gone so, like, is that why it took you longer than normal to come here? That would have been a kinder way to do it. Number 2, love language number 2, physical touch. Some reason, not for some reason, this one's my favorite one. A lot of people, when they hear physical touch, they think that it's about like groping, PDAs, making out constantly, or just like the intense like need for sex. And yes, it could be those things, but that's not what it's all about. Physical touch is way, way, way more about body language. How are you positioning yourself when you're talking to your partner? How are you presenting your body to your lover as you're talking to them? Are you leaning in? Are you pointing your shoulders at them? Are your feet pointed towards them? Because when you angle yourself like that is how you're showing them that you're giving them the attention, that you're actively listening to them. And it's also about the subtle touches, like a soft like grace on the hand. Like when I'm talking to one of my friends, and if they like put their hand out and touch my leg or touch my knee or like tap my arm to just like emphasize a point in their story, I'm way more engaged when they do that. And they know that, and that's also why they do that and I can see that in their stories when they tell them to me. Because they'll be like, oh, and get this, like getting me ready for like the main thing of the story. With someone whose love language is physical touch, you can do all of the things I just said, and also, that is the kissing, the hugging, cuddling. I fucking love cuddling. Like, I'm a cuddlebug. Physical touch, what you don't want to do is neglect them. So if they're accustomed to cuddling and hugging, like, you don't want to all of a sudden take those things away and not give them those things. And also don't do those things coldly. Don't do it just because you're like, oh, well, my partner wants to cuddle, so I'll be the big spoon. One of my previous partners, I'm a cuddlebug, and I just like know this about myself. If I'm sleeping with somebody in the same bed, I am most likely going to end up super freaking close, like invading personal space close. And my response to that, if you don't like that, is get out of my bed. The third love language, I don't remember the order that Karen listed them off in. I was trying to do them the order she said, but I don't remember. Gift giving, we'll say, is number 3. And that's very simple. It's in the freaking name. Dr. Chapman made these pretty simple. If your love language is receiving gifts, that means it doesn't have to be a big gift. It doesn't need to be a big, grand gesture. It can be something as simple as your partner walking up to you, handing you your favorite coffee or your favorite tea because they were in the coffee shop and they're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go see my partner, and they would appreciate if I got them their beverage because I'm getting one for me. And it can be something like that. The next one is quality time. And don't get me wrong, I love me some quality time. Refers to one-on-one couple time. You and your partner. No distractions, no texting, no checking your phone, get off Instagram. Like, seriously, just like appreciate being with your partner. How often do you get to be with them one-on-one? Like, cherish that time. Show your partner that you appreciate being alone in their presence. That's true intimacy. So someone who identifies with the love language of quality time as either their primary or one of their secondary love languages, they're gonna get upset when they don't get the one-on-one couple time. If they're constantly with their partner but in a group setting, it's gonna take a toll on them because they value the one-on-one interaction. And there's nothing at all that's wrong with that. But with quality time as a main love language, you really have to communicate that to your partner. Because if your partner has a different idea or a different primary love language than you, that isn't quality time, say it's physical touch and yours is quality time, they're gonna think that you're okay hanging out in a group setting, and they'll come up to you and like hug you, put their arm around you, and to them that's love, but to you You're like, this is great, I appreciate you, love you, but like, I really just want to like be with you. You know, I didn't want to be with everybody. Talking and communicating is big for them. They thrive on that. They love it. It's their main love language. So depriving them of that or having them wait a really long time to get the one-on-one interaction is heart-wrenching. They take that personally because quality time, one-on-one, it's a very personal thing. So when you don't make an effort to hang out with them one-on-one, they're going to think that you don't want to be with them in that way, and therefore you don't love them or you don't love aspects of the relationship, and psychologically that's gonna fuck them up because they're gonna start playing the scenarios in their head of like, well, if he doesn't want to see, like, if they don't want to see me, are they seeing somebody else? Like, what am I doing? Like, am I not enough? Like, why don't they want to be with me all the time? Ask your partner how much quality time is important for them. Maybe it's dedicating one day a week to have quality time, or maybe it's twice a week. So that's enough about quality time. Let's move on to the fifth love language, acts of service. Acts of service was my main love language when I started the whole dating, romantic life, all that stuff. And it had been one of my main love languages for, I'd say, about a decade. And I got really turned off by it. First off, let me just explain what acts of service is. It's doing things that your partner would appreciate. So you're alleviating the pressure on them in their daily life. Say you live with your partner and you have to go pick up the groceries and do a whole bunch of other chores in the day. And getting the groceries and then making the dinner, which like you and your partner have already said you're going to make dinner together. That's another thing you can do as quality time. It's like make dinner together, and that also satisfies the acts of service love language as well. If your partner knows how much you have on your plate and how much you're doing and how stressed you are with the chores and just all of the errands that you're running in that day, then they might be like, you know what, don't worry about it, I'm gonna pick up the groceries because you've got enough to do. Like, I know what we're gonna, like, we already talked about what we're gonna make, so I know the things we need to get. Like, I'll do it, don't worry about it. Years ago, I would have jizzed my pants over that shit. So you don't have to do something super big for them with an act of service. Acts of service is like if you say you're gonna do something for them to just like help them out in their day, follow through on it. Because if you don't follow through on it and you say that you're gonna do it, that's just a world of hurt for your partner if their love language is in fact acts of service. Because that to them, when you say that you're going to do things and you don't follow through on it, they feel neglected. They think that you are putting yourself before them. They're not a priority in your life. And then they're going to start to get resentful. I know, because I've seen it with clients, and I've seen it in my friends' relationships, and I've also counseled people through that time. I've also been there. That's why it's no longer one of my main love languages. Is because it was one of my main love languages for a really long time, and I had a really great relationship with somebody, and it started to go downhill. And one of the reasons on my end of that was because he would always say, like, oh, I'll do this for you. Like, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, I'm going to Big Art Supplies. What do you need? I'll get it. And then he would like get the wrong thing or not do it. And to me, that's like taking something off my plate. And then you couldn't even do that. So now I have even less time to do all of the shit that I was stressing about that I thought I could cross off my list because I was trusting you to do it because you said it. I didn't even ask, you volunteered. So, and that just kept happening a lot towards the end of it, and I started to take it really personally. To sum up acts of service, it's doing something to go out of your way to help your partner. And it doesn't have to be something like elaborate or big. It can be something as simple as like, I'll pick up the dry cleaning today, babe, don't worry about it. Because they just want to know that you're a team. They want to know that you're supported. They want to feel the partnership. And to someone whose love language is act of service, that's a big part of it, is coming together and being teammates and sharing the load, sharing the burden, so to speak. I'm back! I want to end tonight with one more Kriya, again for opening up the heart. This one, the one we did at the beginning, was a little bit more energetic, more awakening. This one's gonna cool us down and get us ready for bed, or to just relax. We're gonna interlace our fingers, bring our elbows out to here, starting at chest height, right where your heart would be. You're going to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to bring your hands down to your navel. Inhale, come up to the heart. And we're just going to do that. And you can follow your own breath. You don't need to do breath of fire. Just inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. You can take it as fast or slow as you want to go. And this one can be done seated or standing as well. So get into a comfortable position. Bring the hands together. Bring the hands together. Deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep going. Find your rhythm. You can close the eyes. Inhale, pulling love to the heart. Exhale as you send out what you don't want. Inhale, bring it in. Let the hands push it down. Releasing on the hands, bring the hands palms up on the knees. Inhale, roll the arms up and back. And exhale, open mouth, let it go. One more deep breath in. And exhale, open mouth, side out. Bring hands to heart center. Thank you for letting me lead you in that little breath meditation. Opening up the heart, the evening, the theme of life. So much stuff happens in just our day-to-day, everyday life that is beyond our control. And a lot of things that happen, we tend to want to close ourselves off when negativity happens or we get hurt. And we want to shield ourselves from that. And that's a lot of what happens when we don't know our partner's love language. Is if the love languages are different from yours, your feelings can get hurt in the way in which you show love. So you kind of tend to push back and shrink away and shy away. And knowing your partner's love language and knowing yours will help you to understand how to bridge the gap between their love and your love, so you can find a common ground on how to love each other and how to just be there and support each other and appreciate each other in the ways in which you both want to be appreciated. And it all stems from having conversation and being open and honest when your feelings get hurt, when you do try to show love, rather than reacting and going in to have an argument. It's in those instances where we need to roll the shoulders up and send them down, and even push out our heart and swallow our pride and be like, I know that you're upset, I see that, let's discuss it, and let's see how we can move forward together as a union. That's why love languages are important. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching tonight's episode of Pillow Talk with Kate, with the host, yours truly, Kate Eipel. I am a mindset and self-love relationship coach. That is why I wanted to do today on love language, because it's something that I work with a lot and I find it very beneficial, and I know a lot of my clients find it beneficial to know their love language as well as their significant other's love language. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment, and be on the lookout for more. Every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the new episode for each week will drop, and I leave them up, so if you can't watch them on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. Pacific, no worries, just catch it on your own time. Let me know if this episode spoke to you. Feel free to DM me privately. If you join the Facebook group, you can message me privately on Facebook, or you can reach out to me with my email, or you can find me on Instagram at the Queen of Fucking Everything, and my email is info@eipelyoga.com. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. My heart goes out to all of you.